Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on Akashvani. This is Renuka bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says BIMSTEC framework showcase India's commitment to create enabling environment for rapid development of region through joint endeavours. India and Germany reaffirm commitment to strengthen bilateral defence cooperation and enhance industrial partnership. Indian Navy carries out successful test of indigenous heavyweight torpedo to destroy underwater target. President Draupadi Murmu says India and Suriname bilateral ties based on shared aspirations for development. NCB busts darknet-based pan-India network of drug cartel, making largest ever seizure of LSD. White House lauds health of Indian democracy, says it is vibrant. And in badminton, India's Kidambi Srikanth, Priyanshu Rajawat and men's doubles pair of M.R. Arjun and Dhruv Kapila enter second round of Singapore Open. Leaders of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation BIMSTEC grouping have reaffirmed their commitment to strengthen regional cooperation. The leaders issued messages on the occasion of 26th anniversary of the BIMSTEC on Tuesday, that is 6th of June. Secretary General Tenzin Lekfel in his message on this occasion said that as it marks its 26th anniversary, BIMSTEC seeks to revisit and re-examine its working methods to better serve the people through the appointment of an eminent persons group to put forth practical recommendations on its future directions. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh highlighted the importance of regional cooperation to meet the challenges of the economic crisis caused by the Ukraine war. She commended BIMSTEC for creating its administrative and regulatory structure and its charter. She reiterated Bangladesh's commitment to help BIMSTEC in transforming itself into a results-driven organization. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his message said that BIMSTEC framework is India's commitment to create an enabling environment for the rapid development of the region through joint endeavours in a spirit of equality and friendship. He said the current efforts to have a maritime cooperation agreement and an agreement to facilitate the movement of motor vehicles across the region reinforces the importance of the Bay of Bengal for our collective security, connectivity and prosperity. BIMSTEC is a regional organization established in 1997. It comprises 7 member states including Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Myanmar and Thailand, lying in the littoral and adjacent areas of the Bay of Bengal. Its headquarters is based in Dhaka. India and Germany have reaffirmed their commitment to strengthen bilateral defence cooperation and explore ways to further enhance the defence industrial partnership. The decision was taken during a delegation-level talk between Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and German Defence Minister Boris Pistorius in New Delhi on Tuesday. In the meeting, both the leaders discussed regional issues and shared priorities of both nations. Mr. Singh highlighted the opportunities that have opened up in the defence production sector, including the possibilities for German investments in the 2 defence industrial corridors in the Indian states of Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. He stressed that India's skilled workforce and competitive costs, along with Germany's high technologies and investment, can further strengthen defence ties. The bilateral meeting was preceded by a tri-service guard of honour to the visiting dignitary. Earlier, the German minister laid a wreath at the National War Memorial in New Delhi. German Federal Minister of Defence is on a 4-day visit to India. The Indian Navy on Tuesday carried out successful tests to destroy underwater target using made-in-India heavyweight torpedo. A Navy spokesperson said that the successful engagement of an underwater target by an indigenously developed heavyweight torpedo was a significant milestone in the Indian Navy's and Defence Research and Development Organization DRDO's quest for accurate delivery of ordnance on target in the underwater domain. The spokesperson said this showcases Indian Navy's commitment to future-proof combat readiness. This is the second sea-level test in a fortnight. Last month, the Navy tested an advanced missile from the destroyer INS Marmugao The missile, known as sea skimming, hit the target floating in the sea from below. The missile is capable of hitting its target up to a distance of 300 kilometers. President Draupadi Murmu lauded the Indian diaspora in Suriname as an important pillar of the deepening partnership between India and Suriname. The President said this while addressing a gathering at the Independence Square in Paramaribo on the occasion of the commemoration of 150 years of the arrival of Indians in Suriname on Monday. The President said that she was happy to note that despite the vast geographical distances, the different time zones and cultural diversity, the Indian diaspora has always remained attached to their roots. The President said that at a time when Suriname is celebrating the legacy of its ancestors and its link with India, India stands with Suriname in solidarity and reverence. The President also said that India-Suriname bilateral relations are based on a shared aspirations for development. The President is on a 3-day state visit to Suriname. On Monday, at a ceremony held at the Presidential Palace, President Murmu was conferred with the highest civilian honor of Suriname, Grand Order of the Chain of the Yellow Star, by the President of Suriname. In her acceptance remarks, the President thanked President Santokhi and the government of Suriname for bestowing upon her this honor. She also dedicated the honor to the successive generations of the India-Surinamese community who have played a stellar role in enriching the fraternal ties between the two countries.
ये सम्मान न केवल मेरे लिए बल्कि भारत के उन 140 करोड़ से अधिक लोगों के लिए भी अत्यधिक महत्व रखता है जिसका मैं प्रतिनिधित्व करती हूँ। मैं ये सम्मान भारतीय सूरीनाम समुदाय की उन पीढ़ियों को भी समर्पित करती हूँ जिन्होंने हमारे दोनों देशों के बीच मातृत्व संबंधों को समृद्ध करने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाए हैं।
Earlier in the visit, delegation-level talks were conducted and 3 MOUs were signed between the two countries. 2 MOUs were signed in the field of health and 1 in the field of agriculture. The Government of India also announced the extension of the OCI facility to the 5th and 6th generation of persons of Indian origin in Suriname, a long-standing demand of the Indian diaspora living in Suriname. On the concluding day of her visit on Tuesday, President Murmu visited the Lal Rukh Museum dedicated to preserving the history and cultural heritage of the Hindustani population in Suriname. She also offered prayers at the Arya Divakar Mandir, the largest temple in Suriname, and Sri Vishnu Mandir, headquarters of the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha in Suriname. Home Minister Amit Shah has congratulated the Narcotics Control Bureau NCB team on busting an international narcotics syndicate. In a tweet, Mr. Shah said, realizing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision to create a drug-free India, the NCB team has busted the syndicate and seized 15,000 lots of LSD drug. He said, great coordination between cyber vigilance and human intelligence has made it possible as the dark net and cryptocurrencies were used to trade these drugs. The Union Home Minister said, due to intensified vigilance and improved coordination, drug seizures have exponentially increased in India in the last few years. The Indian Navy will participate in a commemorative event to mark 130 years of the start of struggle against apartheid at the Pietermaritzburg railway station near Durban. INS Trishul, a frontline warship of the Indian Navy, is visiting Durban from 6th June till 9th June to commemorate the 130th anniversary of the 7th June 1893 incident at Pietermaritzburg railway station, as also 30 years of re-establishment of diplomatic relations between India and South Africa. The ship will participate in a commemorative event at Pietermaritzburg railway station, which would include paying floral tributes at the plinth of Mahatma Gandhi and a performance by the Indian Navy Band. The ship will also participate in other professional and social engagements during the visit. Mahatma Gandhi had arrived in Durban, South Africa in 1893 to serve as a legal counsel to the merchant Dada Abdullah. On 7th of June 1893, during a trip to Pretoria in the Transvaal, he first arrived at Pietermaritzburg station. Gandhiji, who was seated in the first-class compartment after having a purchased ticket, was evicted from the compartment at the behest of a European, since, as per him, coolies and non-whites were not permitted in first-class compartments. The incident is considered to be the trigger which led to Gandhiji's fight against racial oppression and to the birth of Satyagraha. The story of Mahatma Gandhi's travels at Pietermaritzburg railway station acquired another life on 25th of April 1997 when in a moving ceremony at Pietermaritzburg railway station presided by Nelson Mandela, then President of South Africa, the freedom of Pietermaritzburg was conferred posthumously on Mahatma Gandhi. Gathered together to right a century-old wrong, President Mandela had recalled Gandhi's magnificent example of personal sacrifice and dedication in the face of oppression. The Defence Ministry said INS Trishul's visit to Durban is in continuation with the Indian Navy's celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav by celebrating key moments that shaped India's independence struggle. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a commentary on India-United States Defence Industrial Cooperation.
India and the US have had a bilateral talks yesterday. Very important things have emerged from the talk. With me is General Kulkarni. General Kulkarni, 3-4 points which have emerged. One, that the India and the US will fast-track cooperation in technology. It will enable co-production of equipment used for air combat, intelligence gathering, surveillance, reconnaissance, and undersea domain. It has also come out that we will be discussing specific proposals. The US has said we will be discussing specific proposals provided by India to access cutting-edge technology. The two sides have also agreed to have a kind of a new agreement or a new discussion which will pave the way for transfer of technology, sharing of technology between the two companies of the two countries. These are called the Security Supply Agreement and the Reciprocal Supply Agreement. General Kulkarni, there are many more things in it. I could go on, but I'll first seek your opinion on these matters. How do you see the India-US bilateral which happened in New Delhi?
Thank you, Ajay. I think at the very outset, I see it as a fantastic bilateral agreements that are taking place between US and India. Obviously, for a long time, I would rather, if I go back to those four foundational agreements, 2002, 2016, 18, 20, called by various names, the GSO-MIA, LEMOA, COMCASA, BECA, all of these allowed India and the US to come very, very close. And therefore, the visit itself has been, and I would look at it this way, that two visits very close to one another, coming from Secretary of Defense himself, 4-star general that he is, who understands so much better. And after the Prime Minister of ours has met the President of the United States at Hiroshima, followed again by the Prime Minister's visit to Washington, which is expected to be a huge, everyone's looking forward to, and the way everyone's kind of love and affection that's taking place between the US and the Indian leadership, I think that would hold a fantastic future for both the countries. Having said that, all these agreements that we see that is coming up, all these cooperations, whether they're ranging from technology to defense procurements, to sharing, to the assessment capabilities, to identify threats, well, I see them all as something which strengthens India. It also strengthens the United States, because we are not piggyback on anybody. We are not allies of anybody. We are partners, and partners in which there's tremendous amount of trust that is taking place between the two countries. Not just the Indo-Pacific, but also various agreements that are taking place. And I would look at it this way, that the United States, great support and assistance to India, whether it is in terms of sharing, reconnaissance, surveillance, and even the drone that came to us as on lease to be able to see that MQ-9B, which helped in gathering. Also, the helicopters that came, Chinooks, you have Apaches, you had the transport helicopters, or aircraft, fixed-wing aircraft, which helped in mobilization when things went wrong with China in Eastern Ladakh. All of these agreements, all these kind of measures that have taken place, all these kind of rapport between the United States and India that is taking place, I think it works out good for peace and stability. Not always to be able to say we are anti-China. These are not anti-China, but it is to check China primarily, because assertiveness by China, irrespective of whatever China might say, it does not follow, it doesn't walk the talk. And therefore, in that context, the way we are seeing the assertiveness, the expansionism, the aggressiveness being exhibited by China in the Indo-Pacific and also in the Eastern Ladakh and in Arunachal Pradesh, in that context, the relationship that is developing between India and USA, I find that there's tremendous amount of goodwill, good scope, peace and stability that will prevail in the region, and also that we are beneficiaries of the technology that US, which otherwise is very, very critical technologies, which will be transferred to India. I think I look at it as in a very, very positive way.
General Kulkarni, we'll move on to the specifics. The statement yesterday spoke about conclusion of a roadmap for defense industrial cooperation. Now, for our listeners, to put it in context, we are in talks with General Electric to make engines in India for the fighter jet Tejas and also to procure 30 MQ-9B armed drones, famously called the Predators. General Kulkarni, how do you see this conclusion of the defense industrial cooperation?
The entire 350 of our own aircrafts which are going to be equipped with the engine. I understand that the Prime Minister's visit to the United States would finally lead to signing of this agreement in which we'll have the aircraft engines coming to us. So all 350 Tejas being equipped with this kind of aircraft will definitely, and nothing better than it being manufactured in India or in collaboration with America. Not just that. Let's say the MQ-9B, which is the Sea Guardian, there are 30 of them coming, a $3 billion contract being signed, in which there are 10 for the Navy, 10 for the Air Force, and 10 for the Army. With just see the kind of range, 482 kilometers of range, be able to serve an area of about 1900 square kilometers, 35 hours of flying capability, remotely control, all these kind of capabilities obviously put us to be able to deter. I would only use the word deter. I'm not using any other thing, neither qualifying it by any other deterrent, but definitely helps us to be able to reach. And even the exercises that we do with America, we have almost done 6 of these exercises in the last about 8 months. Interoperability, compatibility, understanding each other as even soldiers that we operate with one another, the equipment that we operate with one another, the kind of, as I was talking about the foundational agreement, the LEMOA agreements that are taking place. So we find logistic exchange, the ability to be able to use of facilities to assist them for refueling, maybe in Port Blair also, that can be able to assist in kind of ship-to-ship refueling that can take place on the heights. All this with a view to ensure that there are sea lines of communication which are kept open. And that is where the rule of law must prevail, and nobody must be able to, at least nothing better than India cooperating with America in the Indo-Pacific, and also America looking at India as a solid partner in the Indian Ocean region.
Thank you for speaking to us, General Kulkarni. It was an important subject of India-US bilateral relations. The meeting held yesterday spoke about multitude of issues, including industrial cooperation, space cooperation, and defense cooperation. Thank you for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you.
The White House on Monday appeared to dismiss the criticism related to India's democratic health under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government. John Kirby, the coordinator for strategic communications at the White House's National Security Council, said that India is a vibrant democracy. At a news conference in Washington, in response to a question, John Kirby stressed that the U.S. administration never shies away from expressing concerns that U.S. might have with anyone around the world. Kirby mentioned that during the Shangri-La conference, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin announced further defense cooperation plans with India. With respect to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to the U.S. later this month, Kirby hoped for a deeper, stronger partnership and friendship going forward. Emphasizing the significance of India-US bilateral relations, Kirby noted that India is important to the U.S. not just bilaterally between the two of our nations, but multilaterally. In addition, Kirby noted India's vital role as a friend and partner in preserving stability in the Indo-Pacific region as well as its membership in the Pacific Quad. This is Akashvani giving you the world news. Sri Lanka is set to achieve regional energy integration with grid connectivity with India by 2030. Sri Lanka's Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said in a tweet that regional energy integration has been discussed for more than 2 decades and the government has made it a priority to implement the India-Sri Lanka grid connection by 2030. He added that the World Bank has been actively assisting the state-run Ceylon Electricity Board in understanding the technical aspects and business models necessary for the project. The plan aligns with the vision articulated by the External Affairs Minister earlier this year, highlighting Sri Lanka's vast renewable energy potential and the capability of Trincomalee to become an energy hub. Both countries had also agreed in principle on a renewable energy framework to foster further cooperation. This integration is expected to pave the way for enhanced energy security, sustainability, and economic development in the region. And now we have a report on Sri Lanka organizing a 50-day prelude to celebrate the International Day of Yoga.
In Sri Lanka, Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre is organizing a 50-day prelude to celebrate the upcoming International Day of Yoga. The centre has already held sessions every day for over a month and will hold a big event on the 21st of June. The sessions have helped promote the practice of yoga and its holistic benefits among people of all ages and backgrounds. During these yoga sessions, participants have been engaging in a diverse range of activities that focus on physical, mental and spiritual well-being. The events held so far include a Yoga for Beginners workshop where experienced instructors guided newcomers through the fundamental principles and postures of yoga. To raise awareness about yoga, the centre launched a comprehensive campaign featuring interactive sessions, informative workshops and educational talks. Sessions were also held in universities, yoga centres, colleges and schools across the island. A special session with children was also held on the beach at Colombo recently. Community yoga sessions bring people together, fostering a sense of unity and harmony. The 50-day prelude in Sri Lanka serves as a platform for individuals to embrace yoga and its numerous benefits, ultimately promoting overall well-being and a healthy lifestyle. Valsa Williams for World News.
Bangladesh recorded its highest 2022 at 6.22%. BBS has changed the base index for calculation of inflation from 2005-06 to 2021-22 and changed its methodology for consumer price index CPI compilation following the latest 2020 CPI manual of the International Monetary Fund IMF. Earlier on Monday, addressing party leaders and activists in Dhaka, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said that Bangladesh is facing difficulty due to the rise in price of gas, fuel, transport, commodities because of global rise in prices due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Iran says it would reopen its diplomatic missions in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday, restoring diplomatic ties after a 7-year rift. Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Nasser Kanani said that the Iranian embassy in Riyadh, its consulate general in Jeddah, and office of the permanent representative to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation would officially reopen on Tuesday and Wednesday. In March, Iran and Saudi Arabia agreed to establish diplomatic ties in a Chinese brokered deal, representing a major breakthrough in the region. Saudi Arabia broke ties with Iran in 2016 after protesters invaded Saudi diplomatic posts in Tehran and the northeastern city of Mashhad during demonstrations triggered by the execution of a prominent Shiite clerk and 46 others in the oil-rich kingdom. In Haiti, at least 42 people were dead and 11 are missing after heavy rains at the weekend triggered flooding and landslides. The country, which is already engaged in a protracted humanitarian disaster caused by gang warfare, political failure, and economic stagnation, was hit by terrible weather. According to the United Nations, the severe rains affected 37,000 people and displaced 13,400. According to Haitian officials, the town of Léogâne, located 40 kilometers southwest of the capital Port-au-Prince, was also badly hit by flooded rivers and 20 people died. UN Coordinator of Humanitarian Action in Haiti said thousands of families were affected in the town and urgently needed food, drinking water and medicine. Prime Minister Ariel Henry activated the National Emergency Operations Center in response. Team India will play the second consecutive World Test Championships WTC final in as many editions and will look to go one better this time around as they take on Australia at the Oval in London for the summit clash on Wednesday. Australia topped the WTC points table in the 2021-23 cycle with 66.67 points percent PCT in 19 tests, while India made its cut for the final with 58.8 PCT after beating the Kangaroos 2-1 in the recently concluded Border Gavaskar Trophy series at home. India's Kidambi Srikanth and men's double pair of Arjun and Dhruv Kapila entered the second round of the Singapore Open 2023 on Tuesday. P. Rajawat beat Japanese Kei Tsuneyama, while Srikanth defeated Kantapon Wangcharoen of Thailand 21-15, 21-19. On the other hand, the Indian duo of Arjun and Dhruv beat France's Lucas Covey and Ronan Labar 21-16, 21-15. Meanwhile, Sharla PV Sindhu and Sania Nehwal lost their matches. HS Prannoy also lost to Japan's Kodai Narakawa. Key domestic indices today ended on a flat note in the volatile session. The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange settled below the 62,800 mark, while the Nifty at the National Stock Exchange ended close to 18,599 level. A report from the business desk.
The Sensex climbed 5 points or 0.01% to finish at 62,792. The Nifty advanced 5 points or 0.03% to end at 18,594. Asian markets closed with mixed results as Japan's Nikkei 225 jumped 0.9%. Singapore's Straits Times Index climbed 0.03% and South Korea's Kospi rose 0.5%, while China's Shanghai Composite Index was down by 1.16% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng fell 0.05%. European markets had an all-red day as London's FTSE 100 declined by 0.3%, France's CAC 40 fell 0.2% and Germany's DAX lost 0.18% when reports last came in. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at $75.38 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude price was at $70.76 per barrel when reports last came in. Back home, gold prices at Multi-Commodity Exchange for August contracts was trading at around 60,016 rupees per 10 gram. On the other hand, silver was trading at 72,320 rupees per kilogram for July contracts when reports last came in. And in the forex market, the rupee today closed at 82 rupees and 61 paisa against the US dollar. Anubha Rohatgi for World News, Akashvani.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Washington Post says global economy struggles amid inflation, pandemic aftershocks and war. The Globe and Mail writes, protesters march in France as unions make last-ditch bid to resist higher retirement age. The Financial Times reports the U.S. prepared to address aggressiveness of Chinese military. South China Morning Post writes, China-Russia joint air patrols veer to South Korean airspace, Seoul says. And now a quick look at the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says BIMSTEC framework showcase India's commitment to create enabling environment for rapid development of region through joint endeavours. India and Germany reaffirm commitment to strengthen bilateral defence cooperation and enhance industrial partnership. Indian Navy carries out successful test of indigenous heavyweight torpedo to destroy underwater target. President Draupadi Murmu says India and Suriname bilateral ties based on shared aspirations for development. NCB busts darknet-based pan-India network of drug cartel, making largest ever seizure of LSD. White House lauds health of Indian democracy, says it is vibrant. And in badminton, India's Kidambi Srikanth, Priyanshu Rajawat and men's doubles pair of M.R. Arjun and Dhruv Kapila enter second round of Singapore Open. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan Vaishnava Jan by artists from United States.
Vaishnava Jan ko te kahi jipir parai jaane re par dukh upkare to ye man abhiman na aare Vaishnava Jan ko te kahi.
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.